Let's take a look at some stuff, everyone. This is Acid Roots, and we've got Hopsin. So, if you don't know who Hopsin is, I kind of consider him. I looked up horrorcore rappers, and he's kind of one of the ones that is a little bit making noise. He's, probably where Tech Nine was in the year 1999 or 2000 or so. That's probably where he was in the year 2013. So I don't know if he's had his angelic yet or, the like, but, or even like his all sixes and sevens, definitely not. It took Tech Nine a good 10 years, but, I was kind of thinking this guy is like, fourth or fifth, um, there's a word for it, like, when you say like third person type thing, he's like fourth or fifth person in the world of like ICP, 3-6 Mafia, Tech Nine, and Afro Man, and so on. He's like about third tier. And so what I thought when I listened to this was we're going to get some breakout cuts. It's probably going to be some real swampish, swampy, dim, eerie music, but it just did not really make that well. So I do not see this as a valid purchase, and it just really isn't. There are 18 songs, which you would think out of that the number of hits on this record would be rather well, but it just isn't. The only reason I'm reviewing this is just because the songs that are good show potential. And it's like, I don't know how you can make songs and not tell which ones are your good ones. That's just something I've never been able to understand. Tech Nine sure knew. I mean, he was on one of the best songs of this album, and it's like, well, if you know that song's the best song, why aren't you making songs that are similar to that? And that was like the entire question, is just, there are some features of some trending guys on here, but they just kind of fall flat on their face. But we will talk about whether or not you can smoke to it. These are the songs that I recommend you look forward to. And Hop is back. Second song you're going to hear, Rip Your Heart Out with Tech Nine, I Need Help, and Jungle Bash. Those are the songs to smoke to. The production I really didn't like. There were a couple of songs that I was trying to get a feel for, like Old Friend and What's My Purpose and Give Me That Money. That probably would have boosted this album up a little bit more, but it just, I mean, the whole thing about this record is it's just completely incohesive. It's the opposite of what makes an album stick together, because it just feels as if it's talking in a direction that is not facing someone, So like, you don't know where the focus is supposed to be going, and it just makes the album not necessarily good. Like, some of these topics, are just kind of strange to the point of, why are these songs? You talk about things on the album like, it's supposed to be conflicted, and it just doesn't feel that way, because the standard topics of a horrorcore album are just not completely covered. And seeing as to the fact that on the album cover he's kind of in a grave getting ready to get buried, it looks like it. This is extremely strange that this music does not capitalize on the feeling of something that is terrible. So he just doesn't do a very good job of creating it. Obviously, Tech Nine is better, and Eminem is better. These are just, I'm not trying to compare him to the greats, but there's just, if there's more people, even people that haven't done it as big, I'm thinking are probably better than this release. So it just feels kind of like a a novice attempt at doing the style of some of these guys who've been doing it. And so I was kind of looking at it as like a young gun coming up and being able to get this sound and create a new shape-shifting album. I don't know. It didn't succeed, in other words. But yeah, so he did drop an album last month, July 2015, and so I'm curious to see if that album is better than this one. But the unheard songs are the 4 songs I listed: Hop is Back, Rip Your Heart Out, I Need Help, and Jungle Bash. So, but once again, I'll go over the weaknesses for you so you're aware of why this album is just not that good. Really, the way that this album is approached just does not have emphasis and complete character in its songs. It just lacks, like, if you wonder, like, a Tech Nine song that is good, like you think of the song Einstein, that song is capitalized just because he puts the juice behind it. You've got a production that doesn't make sense. It's got like some Egyptian style production on there that just you probably wouldn't hear from another person. On top of that, then you complement the lyrics with it and you say this is a catchy song. It's the same thing with like the Crossroads, Bone Thugs does that sort of thing. And it's not just the beat. That is basically like the welcome mat. You just go into the song and you feel the rest of it from there. And unfortunately, he's just not that good of painting, creating the atmosphere that's needed for these records. And I just was not feeling it at all. And, you need like these songs that are going to do that, but I think really he just has like a bad ear for what's good. And that's unfortunate because if you're going to make records, you have to be able to tell what songs are good and which ones aren't. If your other artists are able to do that, you should be able to do it too. So a couple songs that I wanted to like, but ultimately didn't, were What's My Purpose, Old Friend, Give Me That Money, and I think even Who's There. But I just did not quite get to liking them. And I think you'll notice too, if you listen to especially Hop is Back and Rip Your Heart Out, you'll notice that these songs are better than anything on the release. And you'll say, with that in mind, if there would have been an album full of songs like those 2 songs, I probably would have given this a very high score. But that it just happened to be rather weak. So, yeah, I don't recommend this album. I mean, if you have to, just find a way of getting a hold of those songs. And, if you can, just, there are a couple good songs. I do like the 4 songs I mentioned, but it's just not a full album. And 4 out of 18 is pathetic. This is not anything close to being, stellar. But, these songs are good, so don't think I'm insulting Hopsin. I think he is a capable musician. But, as far as like a project scale, it just doesn't quite make the cut. So I'm going to give this album a 1.5 out of 10. Just because, like, it should be a 2, but just the fact that, like, completely all of these songs is just dud after dud after dud. It just feels as if, like, you're pulling my leg in a way that I don't want you to pull it. It's like, I mean, how can there be this many songs? Like, you need to be able to tell the songs that are good. And you couple that with the fact that it just doesn't sound very horrorcore. There's songs, regretting the life that he's living. And it's like, just don't get that involved with what you're doing. I don't think Tech Nine has ever, just you may think he has, but um, he's able to keep 2 feet on the ground. But so the future Hopsin just dropped an album. Is this album social? I'll give it a 3 social, just because some people might like him more. And, you know, like, really, he is a trendy guy, and he's kind of new. He's kind of like the new voice of what this genre is going to continue to do. So, can it be topped? Absolutely. But give this album a 1.5 out of 10 and a 3 social.